Welcome back. It is November 16th. It's a Monday, and today I want to answer the question, Alex, how do I buy SpaceX? How can I invest in SpaceX? Well, I'm sorry to inform you, most retail traders are not able to go long SpaceX. It's not a public company. You cannot trade it or invest in it. But Elon Musk has another interesting company coming out that I think you guys might like if you are not aware about it, that we're going to be talking about today. And I also want to talk about or bring to your attention an ETF that might make picking stocks a little bit more easy for you, especially in the space sector. So let's go ahead, go to the laptop and talk about those fun things right now. Also, I'll quickly mention here that, well, once this freaking computer switches screens, I don't know why it's taking so long. Anyway, I'll already talk about it. So our day trading profits today, were okay. It wasn't really anything to run home about, but as James said in the live stream, green is green, and that's basically what is happening. Look at this freaking computer going insane. So guys, I have such amazing news. On Monday, I'm going to be back in the States. I'm going to be in Florida, and I got freaking like a Santa Claus package of goodies waiting for me, including my new laptop, which is finally going to make my streaming okay, because this last 2 months with my laptop has fallen off a cliff. I mean, it's pretty much unusable at this point. I can't even edit videos anymore. It's that bad. So I'm like, I've already had to restart this video 3 times because it keeps on freezing. And trading is a nightmare. Okay, back on track. So what happened today? HPR, we're up 160 on this one. ATHE, we're up 137 on this one. And then CBAT, we're up 20 bucks. These are my day trades. The other ones are swing trades that are in my day trading account, unfortunately, which I need to remove. But it is the current case, the current situation. So, nice $300 day, but, green is green. And it's okay. Moving forward a little bit, good start to the week. Last week, we had a total scratch week, so that's a little bit unfun. But yeah, let's dive into it. So if you guys have not been aware, SpaceX has been streaming more than me. They've been going crazy live, filming their rocket launches. I don't know if you guys ever seen the SpaceX rocket launches, but they're super good fun. They're always being streamed on YouTube. And then, they're constantly giving mission updates, and you can see kind of mission control center. I think that's what's streaming right now. Apparently the crew might be sleeping. I'm not really sure what that stands for right there. But if you guys have no idea what's been going on lately, Sunday, 4 astronauts, and this is an NPR article, National Public Radio, 4 astronauts lifted off Sunday night from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida aboard a SpaceX rocket bound for the International Space Station, ISS. Liftoff occurred right on schedule, 7:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I assume, despite concerns about weather earlier in the day. There's 3 NASA astronauts. Mike Hopkins, who was on the original flight, Shannon Walker, Victor Glover, and then there's a 4th astronaut, the Japanese astronaut. I don't even know if I should bother saying this. Soshi Nokoshi. I'm sorry for completely butchering that. Reached orbit after about a 12-minute ride to space. So not 12-minute ride, that's not too bad. Takes longer for me to get around Berlin. It's just crazy here. So anyway, that's what's going on here. And this is the second manned flight, or the second flight. There's actually a crew inside. I'm not sure about the man part, but this is a historical flight. So 6 months ago, on May 30th, 2020, SpaceX launched its first ever crew mission, a test flight called Demo 2. And this was really for the overall test to see if it goes, if it works. And yeah, so this is kind of the big thing that's been kind of going on right now. I mean, this is the first time that, a private crew company is delivering astronauts to a space station. I think it's been literally since 2011. I would have to double check that. I was reading some articles about it earlier today. But yeah, this is huge news, guys. And so, I mean, SpaceX has been all over the media all weekend long. The problem is for, retail investors, and that's what I want to kind of, circle back to here, because we're, a trading channel, investing channel. SpaceX, obviously the CEO, Elon Musk, does not plan to take it as SpaceX public. He says, according to the company, short-term demands of shareholders conflict with long-term ambitions, which totally makes sense, because investors are always looking for that, quick return, buy back shares, that's going to push up the stock price. Well, buying back shares, then we can't have capital to invest in, I don't know, building a rocket that goes to Mars, right? So it's not always in the best interest, which is, kind of seems weird at first, but, the more you look into it, totally makes sense. Long-term growth as opposed to short-term gains, right? But then this is the big thing I want to be talking about here. So although reports suggest SpaceX could spin off its Starlink satellite business, Musk says he has given no thought to the possibility. But this is a fairly older article, and June 2nd, and then this is where I want to kind of really tie it all in here. Where is that? So Elon Musk, here we go. Elon Musk, this is a recent tweet he put out in September 28th. Some guy was like, can you please go IPO with it and somehow let retail investors in early, blah, blah, blah. We will probably IPO Starlink. This is the important part. So it looks like Elon Musk is actually thinking about IPOing Starlink, so spinning off Starlink from SpaceX, but only in several years in the future when revenue growth is smooth and a predictable. Public market does not like the erratic cash flow. I'm a huge fan of small retailers. We'll make sure they have top priority. You can hold me to it. So that's, that's a bullish sign for Starlink being possibly IPO'd. Now, if you guys don't know what Starlink is, there's a site here I'll talk about in a second, but let's quickly recap what's been going on. So a lot of excitement around SpaceX regarding their satellite ambitions and the Starlink internet project in 2019. SpaceX valuation at $33 billion in 2019. But you could see here they've gotten a lot more funding since back in 2002. So they've been, on the funding boat like crazy. And in February alone, they've been really capitalizing on the funding. Oops, sorry. Right around here. So in actually, where's that? Starlink, or right now, the Starlink project, long way from building a network. So they are putting up 12,000 satellites to provide high-speed internet across the world. I'm super, interested in this myself, as I'm kind of always on the road and I'm always looking for a good internet connection. I have a worldwide internet plan with T-Mobile, and it is absolute trash. I'm talking like I can't even send out, I can't even use that 6 rental car service, or I pretty much need Wi-Fi. I mean, there's like international or worldwide Wi-Fi is just, or like 3G or whatever, is just pretty much non-existent. So that's what Starlink is looking to solve. And also the SpaceX in August now raised another 1.9 billion, as we were just looking at. Now it's valued at a whopping $46 billion. So that's a pretty nice rally in price since last year. We were looking at $33 billion. So now we have, SpaceX growing really, really quickly. We have Starlink shooting up a bunch of interest. And if you guys are interested in Starlink, I definitely recommend kind of checking out their website a little bit here. You could sign up for early notifications. They're planning to actually go live their service by 2021. So this is really, really interesting. There's just a bunch of satellites flying around, these Starlink satellites on a lower orbit, providing, high-speed internet. So this is going to be really interesting. Obviously, you guys can go through it on your own time. I don't really want to focus so much on Starlink, just the fact that, keep an eye out for this project, because there's probably going to be an IPO in the next coming years that I think is going to be really interesting. But now you guys are probably like, Alex, why are you talking about something that's not even happening soon? Well, I want to kind of tell you about all this hype, all this kind of stuff that's been going on in the space kind of world, if you guys have not been paying attention to it. But, it's such a big topic lately. There's even an ETF for space. It's called, this one's called UFO, and they recently had a big breakout here, and I was looking into different space companies for a while, and then I found this ticker UFO, or this ETF UFO, and I was like, oh, this is really interesting, because, it's hard to keep track of all these different companies. I have a little space watch list here of tickers that I like. Yeah, and one of those is, Virgin Galactic, that I always follow quite extensively, but they're actually down 9% today. So if you guys, don't want to worry on those specific companies, I mean, I'm personally very busy myself. I mean, I look at stocks every single day, and, I can only focus on so many different sectors, and I'm usually focused on, day trading, not so much, trying to swing trade these certain sectors. So, sometimes it's nice to have an investment portfolio, and you put that money aside, you just blindly deposit into it every single month or week or whatever you want to do. And if you want to be long space companies, then, and you don't want to constantly check which is a good company, going along with an ETF could be a really good idea. And, a really good place to start is always kind of just going to the website of anything, if it's a company or an ETF. So that's what we're doing here. So I went to their website, some fun facts. That's actually kind of funny. So their expense ratio here, I want to kind of really point this out, 0.75%. It's roughly the same price as other ETFs. The average expense ratio, carry expense ratio, 0.44. And the average traditional index fund costs 0.75. So they, it's a little bit on the higher end, I would probably say. But just keep in mind, it's not blown up. It's an okay inexpensive ETF, but I kind of like that in terms of okay, it's a little kind of high risk, and that's why they're doing that high risk high reward space. But if you guys want to kind of look into it a little bit more on your own time, what they're obviously investing into, and maybe you could consider, making your own quote unquote ETF by like, let's say 10% of each one of these, you can kind of see that they're weighted a little bit differently on these different companies. Virgin is obviously one that we've been trading quite a lot, and then kind of seeing what their holdings. Obviously you can download all their holdings and kind of look at their investment strategy. I find one interesting thing about this fund is they adopted an 80% policy to invest in companies that receive at least 50% of revenue or profits from one or more segments of the space industry. So if that's selling to space parts to another company, or directly like SpaceX probably does. Well, it's not a public company, but having these government contracts where they're launching stuff into space. Or the satellite companies, space, Starlink, which would be in the future. So I think UFO would be a really, really interesting pick and a way to diversify your portfolio to have a little bit more risk allocation towards space. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the video description. Would you guys be long an ETF like UFO, or would you pick them out individually, or are you not so much a space fan, or would you rather be focused on like waiting for SpaceX or Starlink or something else to IPO? What are your guys' takes on this? I would love to know. Now, very quickly, before we talk briefly about the swing trades today, I do want to point out here that if you guys are not aware, this is pretty big news. Let's quickly go to it. Our coronavirus ETR watch list here. So you'll notice BNTX, the one that came out with the 90% vaccine, is down 16% today, guys. That is ridiculously, ridiculously huge. And the reason for that is because Moderna, oops, I think I said that wrong. Moderna, I keep on saying Moderna came out with a vaccine of their own, 94.5% efficiency. That's well, pretty much 5% better, 4.5% better. And Moderna has a drug that can be cooled at lower temperatures, so it's easier to transport. So this one seems like it has a much better chance at the current moment. But BioNTech, man, it is getting absolutely beat up. Pfizer, not so much, because they're obviously an extremely large company, and vaccine work on coronavirus is just a smaller part of what this company does overall. But Pfizer, with man, they just came out with a few kind of rough stuff going on here. First, their CEO dumping 60% of his shares after the news comes out of their vaccine. And then now this Moderna news doesn't look extremely good for Pfizer. Although I was saying today on Pfizer, I would probably think about accumulating in my investment portfolio. Sorry about that, just click the pause button. Around here at 36, we were talking about it today in the live stream, that there's really, really big pivot zones and support here in this $36 area. If you're looking for a long-term position into a company with a pretty decent dividend here, around 4% dividend yield, not too shabby, I would probably be looking into Pfizer. I would love to add this to my investment portfolio. Although, with that news that recently came out about it, I mean, with, like I just said, Moderna and the CEO selling 60% of his shares, yeah, it's not the best, but I think, pushing the stock price closer to 36 gets you better average entry here on this kind of price overall. And if it dips lower, I'd probably just add to my position size overall. But yeah, Moderna absolutely flying today, up 8%. I mean, this thing has been rocketing out of here, so really, really kind of cool ticker to be following. But yeah, watch out, BioNTech. This is it's not like they're out of the game, but that's some serious competition popping up on the chart. But overall, I hope they both work out, because the world needs some sort of vaccine. Okay. Let's go ahead and really quickly talk about the day trades here. If you guys are interested, I think it's worth reviewing. HPR was actually our lead, the most profitable ticker today for me, which in a way is kind of surprising because I didn't have the super high hopes on HPR. 2 million float, USA oil and gas company. They had this nice big merger news here, and I mean that's a pretty big merger agreement for a $13 million company. But the way this thing was performing pre-market, I just wasn't really stoked about it. The only good thing that happened though is I got some decent little pops on this this ticker. So pre-market, like I didn't really trade it super aggressively, but you can see here this second move, I actually got kind of aggressive. I bought this breakout here and then I sold near the highs, luckily, because it actually ended up selling off. And when I noticed the sell volume was kind of high, it was a little bit weak at breakout. I just took some quick profits there. This trade right here, I did a little bit of a quick pullback trade, and since it was looking like it was going to keep selling off, the selling pressure was a little bit high. I closed this one out, so I made like 100 something bucks on these two trades. Again, like I said, it was small profit today, but it was just nicer, kind of getting green, starting the week, nice little way. And then this one was called out in the chat room right near the end. I was pretty much done with trading, but in Velocity called it out in the chat room, and then I bought this little pullback trade right here and then sold. I was waiting for that break of 6. We got 602, then we hit like 605, and then it ended up pulling back. So just not the best resolution today, so that's why I wasn't really aggressive on a lot of these tickers. ATHE, although honestly that's kind of how you have to be trading lately. You just got to get really aggressive early on because the pullbacks lately have just been so enthusiastic. And this is literally ATHE, another ticker, really perfectly depicts that. So I mean, you could see this kind of like one-day spiker ticker, very kind of sketchy to be trading or investing, and that's why we're day trading these tickers because they move quick. This is an Australian biotech. They got a nice USA patent approval. That was nice. I was like, okay, that's great. 13 million float, really good. 25 million market cap. This fits our criteria to the T, between $2 and $7. I love this. The thing is, pre-market here, I don't know, we weren't getting a lot of action. Pretty much when my pre-market opened, so TD Ameritrade, around 7 a.m., this thing, was consolidating and not doing anything interesting. And then eventually we get a little bit of a pop here to the upside. And this is when I jumped on it. So we had a nice little breakout trade here. I sold near the highs and I didn't buy this pullback, unfortunately. And then, I buy this pullback, but then we didn't get follow through and I closed out of this position for a small loss. And then this complete chaos here was just wild. We had a big move to the upside and then we had a ferocious, literally like 20% dip. And I was like, man, this thing is so choppy. How do I even want to trade this? So I was like, I wanted to be very risk averse on this one. Originally, I was actually waiting for a pullback trade here, but it happened so fast that I missed my entry at like 308, 309. And then as it was going to the upside, I bought the breakout here of this kind of doji candle when it was a doji candle at the time. And then it started going green. I bought that move into the green, and then my goal was a break of 3.4. Unfortunately, we didn't get that, and then we pulled back again, and then I got out at 3.31, and then wrapped up a little bit more profit with ATHE. But it was such a stressful kind of ticker to be even looking at. I mean, this thing was all over the place, so I wasn't super stoked about it. But what I mean by getting aggressive quickly, you can see with ATHE, you had to jump on this one really fast. You had one pullback opportunity here, another one here, maybe a debatable one here, but you're already playing with fire in this area, and then it just flushes. So lately, buying pullbacks has been not so profitable for me. It's actually, it's still doing okay, but getting early on a breakout has been really a little bit more the way to trade this market that we're currently in. Kind of unfortunate because that's not my favorite trading style, but it is what it is. And then CBAT, yeah, I don't know. It was just, it is also what it is. Yeah, it wasn't really anything too interesting. Chinese company, 21 million float, just kind of EV kind of play. Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time trading CBAT. I'm not a big fan of the way it moves. Had a little bit of a pullback trade here. It actually ended up looking and performing really nice when I stopped trading. So I stopped trading around 10:30, and then it actually constantly had these really good moves. But I missed out on all this. I don't know. CBAT, I feel like I'm always on the wrong side of this ticker, so I didn't mind missing out on this one. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Again, nice little $300 pop to the upside. If you're totally new here, consider subscribing. I would love to see you in an upcoming live stream. We go live every morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll wrap it up there, guys. Drop a like on the way out if you enjoyed enjoying the content. I'll see you next time. Like always, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.